Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to another episode of Article Reactions. Some of the articles will be informative, some will be shocking, and some may just make you shake your head. We will be starting shortly. You do have the opportunity to financially support the channel in order to help it grow. So, in the very least of that manner, please like, share, and subscribe. Join Char Willie and Classic Ruby for their radio show, Keep the Beat. They broadcast every Wednesday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on CRBJ, Classic R&B Jams. There are discussions of the songs, and that can take you back down memory lane. If you missed the live broadcast, no worries. Replays are uploaded on Mixcloud. So, follow JustAskChar Advice channel on Mixcloud and you will receive the notification when these broadcasts are uploaded. So, thank you everyone for joining the show. We are about to get started.
Greetings, greetings, greetings. Welcome. Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to a Saturday article reaction. Thank you so much for your time joining us. I appreciate it. Thank you, RBR, for sharing my stream. I still will not let you come in my comment section with your Russian bot theories. I'm sorry. I do not negotiate with terrorists, but I do appreciate your kindness. Thank you. Now, that's out the way. Hope you guys are having a great, fabulous Saturday. It has been raining all day in Chicago, all day long. I'm like, man, I wanted to head out to the store because it's fine to go and shop online because now they will offer your groceries sent to your home. You know, that's nice. I'm not sure. I think I did mention that to you guys that if you have Amazon Prime, that they will send you groceries to your home. It's within your Prime membership, and I think that's great. You know, and you can give them a tip. I would suggest giving them a tip because it's going to cost you something, gas, or even if you catch a bus or train, it's going to cost something. So you can give the driver that. The way I look at it, you can't beat it with a stick. So I think that's really going to come in handy this winter, you know, because this pandemic, it's not over. It's not over when these cold months. Oh, excuse me. I think even the fact that when it started getting down like it is now for August, and on till it gets winter, you're gonna see cases go up. You know, booger noses. That's what I call them. Get to sniffing and carrying on, sneezing and all of that. So I don't know. I say be careful. That's what I have to say. I did hear that the president. Yeah, I hit the bottle already. I sure did. Ha ha ha, Danteezy. Yes, I actually have a little champagne. Oh yeah, have me a little champagne. I don't know what's the deal with the champagne. I really don't. I just like it. Must have extra sugar in it. I think that's what it is. That's a darn shame. But I'm gonna have to pull the plug on that because this is normally. Yes, I started in September when I started watching my sugar intake because it ain't nothing to gain a few pounds in the winter here in Chicago because you're not moving that much. And I think too, the age 50, around that time, it's just harder to probably, get it off. So, hey, I'm gonna keep on what I've been doing the last 15 years or so. Watch the winter time. That's just that. But yeah, pardon me. And you giggling at me, poetic Hales. I think I know what you're giggling about. But anyway. You got your wine. All right, girl. Got my champagne. Cheers. Sound like Ruby, don't I? And speaking of that young lady, let's see who we have back here. Let's see. Oh, got her music. You got to get them. You got to get her intro together. You just got to. You have to. You just can't just get her on the stage and that's it. I think she will love some intro music. It's hiding from me. I don't know where it is. It used to be in one spot. It's hiding from me though, and I don't want to give her any other music. Well, classic Ruby.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on stage.
There it is. Classic Ruby, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. You listen, I'm going to write it into my contract for next season, right? Must have intro music, otherwise does not feel like a wrestler or boxer walking into the ring and doesn't feel right about herself. We're just going to write it into my contract.
Okay. All right. No problem.
Hey, listen, I was born extra. I can't help it. It's like a genetic trait, right? So it is what it is, We just work with it. Just work with it.
All right. Cool beans. Definitely always appreciate your help. I really do. People they enjoy it as well. So
I love being here. Absolutely love being here. I'm going to say with you also, talking about the champagne, I do think that it is the sugar because
ah
it's that issue. The sugar in the alcohol is what makes you extra dehydrated, which then, of course, makes the alcohol hit you harder and faster. So it would make
mm,
sense that it's the sugar in champagne that makes you, really goes to your head and, makes that lasting impression, shall we say. So,
ah. And last week was supposed to have been my last week of the champagne, but I just happened to have a little small bottle still left, and that kicked off another bottle today.
hey, that's how it happens. We were talking about that with New Year's resolutions, right? If you were going to wait until some day in the future to stop something, you're not stopping that thing. You stop
Right.
that thing when you say, you know what? Today I'm done. That's when
Yep.
you know someone's ready to stop. It's all right, girl. It's still, is it even fall yet? It might be fall. Okay, let's say it's
Yeah.
fall. But
Hmm.
it's not winter yet. So you still got a little time, move around, enjoy the weather before it ices over. Once it ices over, you got to be done. But before then, you still got time. It's going to be all right.
All right. Well, I have this what's left for this 4 ounces because the little bottle is I think this is a 6 ounce bottle. I don't know, the writing is so small, but I don't see it on here. Yeah, I think it's 6 ounces. I don't see it being more than that.
Oh,
And I
that's
got
not
one
bad.
more, and I'm gonna maybe knock that out later. It's still early, who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But then I'm not gonna buy any more because I figure that's probably what it is, the sugar, and that's definitely something I want to lay off of. But I have maybe an extra article, but um, I don't have to talk much on it. I'm going to try to bring something where I just say, "You guys look at this," and then move on. You come to your conclusion, and we move on. So
Right.
I'll be fast, and then I also want to mention: Am I the only? Well, I don't want to say the only one, but do you find it kind of odd that I actually start on time? I don't see that with a lot of places. I just wanted to know: is it me? I just start on time. I don't know.
I gotta say, it is odd. Um,
Okay.
in our sector,
Oh,
with the
okay.
melanated folk, uh,
Okay. All right. Okay.
right? We got island time, we like to call it, right? Everyone's running on island time. Like when you are 15 minutes late, people look at you like you're early. Like, what are you doing here? I said 7 so everyone could show up by 9, not so people could show up at 7. Like that's why you tell the white people 9 and then you tell the black folks 7, right? And so everyone gets
Oh.
there around 9, right? But you say 7:30 And like,
Mm-hmm.
you mean 7:30? It's very disconcerting every week. I'm just like, maybe this is the week Char will act like everyone else. I'll get an extra 15 minutes. Nope. Nope. Never gonna happen. Not gonna happen.
Okay. All right. I was just wondering, I value people's time. I really
Mm,
do. It's important, and I just do. That's precious, asking for someone's time and attention. I don't sit up here, dance and shout and do all the acrobatics. I don't have all that over here. You
right.
actually can learn something and take it back somewhere. So I'm just used to valuing people's time and I
Hmm.
appreciate it. That's important to me. So,
Oh
okay.
no, I'm sure it's very valuable to like normal people, but I run on island time, right? So it's always just gonna be hard for me. Like, it's just what it is. Like, my friends lied to me. They lied to me
Oh,
and tell me the wrong time because they know no matter how much I intend on being on time, I'm going to be an hour late. I'm going to be. It's not on purpose. Something's going to go wrong. I plan to get there even 10 minutes early. I'm going to be an hour late. So they just tell me a different time. And then the one time I showed up on time, I was an hour early, right? And I was really mad. And she was like, "Oh, we always lie to you. That's what happens. Like, we have to lie to you to try to get you here on time." It's
wow.
like a disease. Yeah, I know. So it's all right though. But see, I told y'all, I'm like Char in training, right? I'm trying to be Char when I grow up. So if I want to make the stream at all, I have to not run on island time. Because if I show up an hour early, the stream's basically done at that point, right? So I have no choice but to show up on time. So it's teaching me. It's teaching me. I'm learning. I'm getting strategies. It's working.
Yeah, it would be over. I'm the type, hey, two people, okay, here, this is what I have for you, two people. The rest of you catch it up on the replay. That's all I can say.
Hmm.
But yeah, I do value guys' time, and all that contribute to the chat room with the conversation, hitting the like button, which is making that little button blue,
Hmm.
and your contributions to the channel. I appreciate it. That pays for the stream yard, and eventually I'll have enough to pay for the internet. But little steps at a time. I
Right.
appreciate it all, and I do
Hmm.
truly mean that. And I don't know if you heard, but RBR shared the stream, and I thanked
Oh.
him. But I'm still not going to let him come on the channel. So you know that is that.
I'm surprised you shared it. All right then. Wow. Okay,
Yeah,
maybe he's growing. All right.
he might be. I'll go check him out, and if as soon as I hear the word Russian or Obama, I'm gone. Which probably means I'll be gone within 5 minutes. So, okay.
He ain't gonna. He's not gonna grow that much. Let's not be ridiculous now.
Okay. All right. So I'll start first.
All right.
Let's see what I got here. Um, I got to get faster. I got to get better. But I'm working on it. Let's see. Share a screen. No audio.
Mm-hmm.
Boop. Now, what is the title? There it is. All right. Alderman agrees to pay $6.65 million to settle 4 police misconduct cases. All right. And that is here, of course. We're talking about Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, we in the hole even more. And this was on the 3rd, September 3rd. So I'll read this. Oh boy, what we gonna do? Aldermen agreed Thursday to settle 4 lawsuits that allege police misconduct, including 2 lawsuits prompted by the death of 2 Black men shot by Chicago police officers. The settlements are set for a final vote on Wednesday by the full city council. Aldermen voted to pay $2.2 million to settle a lawsuit brought by the family of Paul O'Neill, which was 18 years old, who died after officers shot him in the back in July 2016 while they investigated a report of a stolen car. Oh, this is so sad. The Chicago Police Board voted in March to fire those two officers for the shooting at the stolen Jaguar driven by the deceased, Mr. O'Neill. All right. And the officer, Colin and Torres, that's their names, fired at the car. They did not strike the deceased, Mr. O'Neill, after he rammed the car into two police SUVs and fled a traffic stop, according to body worn camera footage released by the department officials. After the car crashed near 73rd Street and Merrill Avenue, officers Diaz shot O'Neill in the back after a brief foot chase. Now, how I just don't get how shooting someone in the back in any case is justified. I really don't.
Right.
I really don't. And I find that to be a coward. I can't get you. I can't catch you. So this is what I'm going to do. And that, that really upsets me when I hear about that type of thing. I heard a stabbing in the back, but the shooting in the back is just terrible.
And lazy.
Yeah, it's a cop out.
Yep.
It's really a cop out. You didn't get your man. It's a cop out. All right, and then the next case, a separate case, aldermen agreed to pay $250,000 to the family of Matrice Milliner, who was shot and killed by police officers in July 2015 in Grand Crossing. Officers said Milliner pointed a gun at them, but family members said he was at a birthday celebration and was shot without cause or provocation. Okay, and then the largest settlement was $3.8 million, and this was a lawsuit filed by a former Chicago police officer, Laura Kubik. How do you pronounce this? I don't know. She's something. I think she's Polish. Kubika. I always make up stuff. Well, her name is Laura, Officer Laura. She alleged she was retaliated against for complaining about former officer Zala, who said she had been verbally abusive, or he had been rather, and threatening in 2012. I'm going to repeat that number, $3.8 million. So out of this lawsuit, that was $6.65 million. The officer is getting the biggest of the settlement. And of course, she still lives. $3.8 million. Now, I'm going to tell you how they did this breakdown. They moved her around because she complained. She kept her job, and she ended up retiring. Now, she had gotten, her legal fees were $412,000. She got back wages. So her award that she won was $1.9 million. So once you add everything up, it was a total of the $3.8 million. Now, all this is coming from the taxpayers, mind you. I just want to say this is the taxpayers' money. And that's why I came up with the idea that they should make the officers pay their own bill when it comes to this. Let them get their own insurance.
Right.
It should not fall on the taxpayer. Because, I believe in justice, and everybody should get paid if that's the case when they do wrong. But where should the money come from? The money should come from the person that actually did the crime.
Right. So to be clear, this case with the officer, was the verbal abuse and all that, was that at her, or was that at suspects, or like was she defending suspects, or people who are being detained, or was she just defending herself?
It was she was breaking, they call it the code of silence.
Mm,
And
okay.
yeah.
So okay, because I'm like, well, she was sitting there being like, well, they were being mean to me personally, and I just thought that was really bad. And I said, well, you should be nicer to me. And then they punished me, and now you owe me millions of dollars. It's one thing if she was defending others, so the people they were apprehending or questioning or whatever it is, and then was silenced. I don't know. I feel like at least on that note, because this is the problem. The problem is, we always say stuff like, well, you shouldn't stand by and, just, look away and whatever. But when you're going to lose everything, not be able to support your children, be forced out of this, the only job that so on and so forth, maybe be punished by, like, if that's all back wages and stuff, that's a lot of stuff that they took away from you. If that's the case, then okay, I kind of understand that settlement, because I would want people to stop turning, just looking away, saying, oh, well, I'm going to get in trouble, or, oh, I'm going to get pushed aside. Like, no, we need to be rewarding cops who are trying to do the right thing and trying to stop the wrong thing from happening. So,
Yeah.
I guess that's a good part on one side. On the other side, it still comes down to, I understand, CSI, or, all of those cop shows that came out. I understand they're TV. I do. But I've been watching them since I was very young.
Uh-huh.
And I remember it was always such a burden to the cop when someone chose to run. They'd be like, don't do it. Don't do it. And then the guy ran. They're like, damn it. Because now they have to go chase him. Right? Like,
Right.
they would almost rather him pull out a gun or something. Man, at least we could have a shootout. I don't want to run after you. Right? But now they have to, because now he's fleeing. You can't shoot someone in the back when they're not facing you. They're not pointing a gun at you. They're not, running this gun in their hand. They're shooting at things in front of them. No, they're just running away. You can't shoot someone in the back. Like, I remember it being such a thing on the cop shows. Like, I remember thinking that, wow, the penalty for doing that must be really big. I remember thinking that the penalty for doing that must be really big. That's why they always go, don't do it. Because, they can shoot you if you walk towards them, and then they can make up some story. But you have to be facing them. As soon as the person's facing away, they're screwed. But no, I don't know. Maybe the penalty used to be bigger in the 90s and they changed it or something. But we're hearing way too many of these stories now. Guys getting shot in the back. I mean, it just happened. Just the other day, with a car full of children as well. They're
Yeah.
okay. They're okay with shooting people in the back who are offering zero threat. And this is only 3 settlements, and then, like you said, the taxpayers are paying it. How many settlements are owed currently right now? Like, just from what we know in the news, let alone, that's not even like a small piece of the pie. If you think about how many settlements that are really owed, what it comes down to is, as individuals, and this is where, I agree with you, but I disagree with you. If the individual has to pay, then no one's ever getting that money, because they don't get paid enough to pay millions of dollars, which is why, yeah, then you pay for insurance, and you should
Yes.
be having to pay for your malpractice insurance, quote unquote, or whatever it
Mm-hmm.
is, just like doctors do, just like dentists do, and whatever, where in that case,
Mm-hmm.
there's still some type of personal accountability. And if you become a liability where the insurance company has to keep paying out, your premiums are going to get higher and higher, to the point
Right.
where, hey, maybe you can't afford to be a cop anymore, but that's not their problem. You should probably follow the rules more. So
And they
that way they have to
will.
stop paying out. Yeah, exactly.
People don't
Absolutely.
People are not affected by things unless money is involved.
Hmm.
You know? We have to have an incentive. Oh, I have to do the right thing. I've got to come in and punch in on time and be courteous to my coworkers and the customers. Okay, I'll do that. And then you be a jerk once you punch out, so
Exactly. Exactly. That's all that it comes down to. And in fact, I'm not sure why that isn't the case already. You know, it should be 100% that way. Even if they wanted to do it, Char, I would even accept this. So let's say that overall, that insurance that all the cops have, that's part of like what's covered for them, the baseline. So when you first walk in, your insurance is, I don't know, say a couple $100s a month. And at baseline, you don't have to pay that. The department pays it for you.
Mm-mm.
But,
Go ahead.
hear me
Go
out, hear
ahead.
me out. Okay. But the first time your premium gets hiked for any reason, you pay it. And you pay it subsequently. So if you're a great cop and you never get into any incidents that involve insurance payouts, and you never do anything that involves misconduct that would, because it's just like driving insurance, right? You don't have to necessarily get into an accident for them to hike your premiums, right? You could get into all kinds of other trouble that hike your premiums. As soon as your premiums get hiked once for any reason, it's not on the taxpayer's dime anymore. So if you decide there's certain types of, let's say there's certain types of misconduct that you won't get sued for, but that they'll be made aware of, that hikes your premiums. Everything can hike your premiums. So unless you are being a model cop, basically your premiums are going to get hiked. I think that would be a really good incentive to never go off book, to never break the rules, to never stray even once. Because you don't have to have this on you. It's not something that, you're a bill that you have to pay. You only have to pay it once you break the rules.
I would now that part I would agree with you if this was maybe 10 years ago. But now all this, well, state of Illinois anyway, especially the city, we're broke already, so I don't want to hand that out. I want them to pay. So,
Well, I
yeah.
would wonder though, right? I mean, if you think about it, as far as these, over $6 million in settlements, what would be, if we were to look at how many cops there were, right, in Illinois, for example, what would that cost be, in comparison to what the average payout of these millions of dollars are? Do you know what I mean? Because if overall it would be cheaper, then it might be a viable solution that would, in the next calendar year, save Illinois money.
Who knows? They get nothing now. There you go.
Either way. Sorry. All right. Well, because, there's nothing in the world people would rather see other than snakes. So we're going to show more snakes. Yay! Yeah, that's right. I'm going to do it. I know.
Okay.
Oh, I see what you said. Share audio. So if I click this audio thing, I don't have to do anything crazy. It'll just play my audio. Like y'all will be able to hear it. That's what happens.
That's what it says.
Girl,
Let's see what
I have
happens.
never seen that box before in my life. I don't think my computer had it. My StreamYard didn't have it till today. No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, I've never seen that before in my life. You don't understand the mission I go on to get y'all audio. You don't. Like, I do all kinds of weird, so I have to turn my computer on separate from my mic. Oh man. Okay. Anyway, teen hospitalized after receiving snake bite to penis while on toilet.
Oh.
Yeah, this is what really happened. So first, let's watch the little. It's like a home video almost. Let's watch this little video. And it is in a foreign language, so y'all are gonna need to read the screen at the bottom for the subtitles. So first, he shows you there's a snake in the toilet, and all the blood everywhere. Yep, this is in Thailand, y'all. That is the snake, for real. Now, from.
It
Yeah.
moved.
Yeah, no, it's a real snake. There's a real snake that came up through the plumbing. Okay? So
ถือโทรศัพท์ดูคลิปดูอย่างนี้ไงพี่แล้วก็แบบเดี๋ยวก็เจ็บผมก็โยนเลยโยนทิ้งนี่แล้วก็จับเจ็บอะไรปึ๊บหัวงูมาทั้งหัวเลยผมก็ลุกลากอะไรอย่างนี้ก็ดึงออกไปเลยแล้วก็ไปปิดประตูหนีบโป๊กไปทีนึงแ แล้วก็มันปิดไม่ได้มันหนีบตัวมันไงแล้วมันก็เลื้อยกลับเข้าไปผมก็เลยปิดอีกทีผมก็ยืนกำตัวเอง
Yep.
And he was cheery. He's
Right.
rather
Yeah.
cheery. That's interesting. Okay.
I think, you know what, I think because it got a little bit of interest, you know, nationally. You know, he's getting people interviewing him and stuff like that. So I think that's probably more so what it is. And, you know, he's a teenager. But I thought that was just a nightmare. Like, and, you know, that's what all of the articles I read about it said, you know, hey, so guys, you know, living nightmare. I don't know if anyone was ever scared of this when they were a kid. I certainly was, of the idea that a snake could really come through your plumbing and bite you, or, you know, like an eel or something could come up through the plumbing and get to you, alligator, whatever, you know? So, of course, to my shock and horror, this really happened. What I find amazing about this is that this is actually something that happens in Thailand. Maybe not like every day, but it happens in Thailand. Another place this happens is Australia. Yes. Yep. So if y'all don't like snakes, or you take a long time sitting down on a toilet between the time you lift the lid, look, and give the all clear and the time you get back up, Thailand, Australia, not the places to go for you.
I just okay.
And to be fair, he's calm now, but he was like horrified and terrified. The mother actually thinks that her son is going to be scared to actually use the toilet forever. Apparently, you know, he's sitting there now acting all big and bad because, you know, there's a camera on him, but like to actually pull his pants down and sit down on the toilet is another thing. So, you know, it wasn't that bad. It was, you know, the snake is obviously not a poisonous snake, you know, only needs to get a little stitched up, no surgery or, you know, anything crazy involved. And doctors say, you know, his member will be back to full functionality and use, you know, soon. It's not like the end of the world, but a snake came up out of the toilet. And for the first time in some of these doctors' experiences, they've never seen it. They've seen bites on the thighs, on the bum, other places from people sitting on a toilet. They've never seen a direct bite on the penis until now.
Maybe he's a blessed young man. I don't know. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave that alone. Wow. Okay.
I know.
All
You're
right.
welcome. You're welcome, y'all. Yeah.
Oh, I was okay till I seen it move, and I'm like,
Right? Because you're thinking maybe they killed it already or something at that point. Nope. It's still alive.
that was not fair. That was not fair.
I know.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So this next one up, let me paste it. Is Georgia investigating 1,000 cases of potential double voting in June primary? How did that happen? Let's see. How did that happen, everyone? Well, you know those mail-out votes. Well, let me tell you what your president said. Georgia's top election official said Tuesday that his office has identified 1,000 cases of potential double voting in the June primary election, a felony he's determined to see prosecuted. These voters submitted absentee ballots, but they also voted in person, a problem that happened across 100 Georgia counties, and election officials didn't catch it in time to keep the second votes from being tallied. Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger said, "No one gets to vote twice. Everyone gets one vote." Raspenberger said. That's an interesting name. Okay, now let me tell you what your president said. Scroll down. The revelation follows a suggestion last week by President Donald Trump that people who vote early by mail should show up at their local polling place on election day and vote again if their ballots haven't been counted. The president said in a series of tweets Thursday that voters who submitted absentee ballots should go to their polling site to see whether or not their mail in vote had been tabulated. If it's has if it has you, wait a minute, how they got this? If it has you, that's exactly what this reads. That doesn't make any sense. But then again, the president did say this. Uh,
Ever makes sense. He never makes sense. So yeah.
That's exactly what this says. It says, if it has you, will not be able to vote and mail in system work properly. That's not even a sentence. Okay, whatever. Let's figure out what he's trying to say. He's probably trying to say, or they probably tried to write, that you mailing in your ballot wasn't going to work, so you need to go in person. And I want to make sure you guys vote for me. That's what that really means.
Mm-hmm.
In his tweets, I'm pretty
Mm-hmm.
sure that's what he meant. So, I scrolled too far. All right. A double voter knows exactly what they were doing, diluting the votes of each and every voter that follows the law. He said repeatedly during a news conference that 1,000 voters intentionally cast two ballots, knowing they had submitted an absentee ballot, but still showed up to vote. But when he pressed on that point, Raspenberger didn't provide any evidence of voters' intent to game the system, other than mentioning one voter in Long County who said he bragged about voting twice. So Georgia, you Trump supporters, they're coming to get you. This Rassenberger guy, he's coming to get you. So I'm just telling you, it ain't gonna work out for you. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I know you want him to win. A lot of people do, but these people had to know what they were doing when they sent in their vote and voted. They knew what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna get in trouble following that suggestion from your president. You're gonna
Your
get it.
impeached president.
Yeah, he is, isn't he?
Right? Isn't seriously, the media is bomb, because I forgot until, and we'll look at my next article in a minute, until I was reading through my next article and they mentioned it and I'm like, oh yeah, he did get impeached. A lot of good that did.
Okay, not much at all.
Apparently that means nothing. From the outside looking in, right? I can't say, I barely understand Canadian politics, so I can't say I'm like an American politics aficionado, but I thought impeachment stood for something. You impeached, and that was basically like firing the president. That's what I thought that means. Which means you get impeached, then you fired. Bye. But no, apparently not. All right. So and
Nothing.
and the worst part about that, though, Shar, is that what it proved to Trump is he could say anything, he could do anything, and get away with anything, and there will be no consequences. Which is why he continues to say anything, do anything, and absolutely not care about any potential consequences. He could not care less. Why would he? What are you going to do to him?
All right,
He's
no
the president.
consequences. Mm-hmm.
He all powerful, y'all. All powerful. So, so let's see what other misdeeds Trump has done. So, oh yeah. No, so definitely gonna show this one. So you see here, Trump appointees sought to alter CDC scientific reports so they don't contradict or undermine the president. Yes, that's right. Okay.
Okay.
Give you a couple of highlights before we go right in. So it says an email obtained by Politico shows a Trump political appointee accusing career scientists at the CDC of undermining the president's messaging on COVID-19. In quotes, CDC to me appears to be writing hit pieces on the administration, Dr. Paul Alexander, a scientific advisor to agency spokesperson Michael Caputo, wrote in the August 8th email. Caputo and Alexander appear to have successfully delayed publication of a CDC report that recommended against using hydroxychloroquine. Remember that malaria drug that Trump claimed would be a cure for COVID-19, despite even all of the early reports that suggested otherwise. The CDC came out with something that said, nope, this is not going to treat COVID. We have zero indications that it treats COVID. And in fact, it kills people while it's not treating COVID. So let's definitely not use this. And the Trump administration successfully delayed publication of that because they didn't want it to go against Trump's messaging, basically be a hit piece against Trump's, knowingness. And then Alexander said, nothing is to go out unless I read and agree with the findings, and I tweak it to ensure it is fair and balanced and complete. This is literally what they wrote. Okay. Wow. So I can't even. Caputo and his communication staff have worked to delay CDC reports that contradict President Donald Trump's rhetoric. One publication was held back for about a month. That's the hydroxychloroquine. Jesus, that's a hard word. Hydroxychloroquine, the malaria drug. The reports written by career scientists are known as the Morbidity and Mortality Weekly Reports. And according to Politico, are used to inform doctors, researchers, and the general public about how COVID-19 is spreading and who is at risk. Jennifer Cates of the Kaiser Family Foundation's Global Health Network, who has relied on past reports, told Politico that they are the go-to place for the public health community to get information that's scientifically vetted. Mm-hmm. The Food and Drug Administration issued an emergency use authorization of the drug in late March, but revoked it in June after it was found to not be effective against COVID-19 with potentially fatal side effects. Several scientific studies have also shown that hydroxychloroquine is not effective for COVID-19, right? So, and remember, they knew this. Mm-hmm. They notified the White House of this. And the White House then successfully delayed for a month. So any deaths that happened, right, in the whole month of May are on the White House because they intentionally delayed this report while pushing the narrative that hydroxychloroquine would actually cure malaria, having this drug run out, literally, right? So people who were using this drug for valid reasons were not able to have access to it anymore because it was running out and being prescribed to COVID patients. And of course, it wasn't working on COVID patients. It's a very dangerous drug, which means it was killing people as well. And if it didn't completely kill them, it definitely damaged their kidneys, liver, other vital organ systems. So, I mean, this was a really big misstep on Trump's part here and on the White House's part, that they decided that messaging and rhetoric and upholding Trump as, just the smartest person since sliced bread was more important than giving reports from the CDC to the public, to doctors, so that way they could effectively treat y'all. Like, this is how much Trump and his administration do not care about the public. They don't care. They don't care if you live or die as long as Trump looks good while y'all are dying. That's it. Like,
wow.
Yeah. Or here we go. Alexander took particular aim at a scientific report that warned of the dangers of reopening schools. The CDC tried to report as if once kids get together, there will be spread, and this will impact school reopening, Alexander wrote. Very misleading by CDC, and shame on them. Their aim is clear. Okay, Since mid-July, nearly 2,500 schools and campuses have reported confirmed cases of COVID-19, according to a database maintained by the National Education Association. Dozens of schools that reopened have been forced to put students and staff in quarantine. There have been at least 34 deaths. But of course, they made the report to target Trump and make Trump sound like he was wrong. They weren't just telling the truth in the hope of guiding the public in the right way about how to handle their health or anything. So Alexander,
Wow.
yep, that's why Alexander said, any future reports related to coronavirus must be read by someone outside of the CDC, like myself. Right? Make sure to say, like myself. Yep. Calling all of their previous work on COVID-19 outrageous and lunacy. This is starting to sound to me like Trump wrote it.
Yeah.
And then Alexander stamped his name on it, right? Because I mean, like,
The world. Wow.
I mean, could there really be someone else who actually thinks like this? Not just thinks like this, but then writes like this, like the lunacy and the
No,
right?
I don't think so.
It sounds so much like Trump. It's kind of crazy. And so, okay. Caputo has also asserted conspiracy theories, including claims that the Russia probe and the Ukraine investigation, which led to Trump's impeachment in 2019. That's when I read that. I was like, oh, yeah. Right?
Okay.
Jeez. Which led to Trump's impeachment in 2019, were part of a plot to enrich global insiders like Hunter Biden, George Soros, and more. Dr. Alexander advises me on pandemic policy, and he has been encouraged to share his opinion with other scientists. Like all scientists, his advice is heard and taken or rejected by his peers, Caputo said in a statement. Norman Ornstein, a scholar at the American Enterprise Institute, a conservative think tank, suggested the revelation of political interference with the CDC's work should prompt legal action. This is a conservative think tank. Okay. The level of corruption involving public health, meaning more people dying because of it, by Trump and his minions is so high and so despicable, he wrote on Twitter. All of these people should be prosecuted for reckless endangerment. I mean, let's think about things that we talked about just even on here on our stream, like when we talked about all those people who have recently gone to the hospital, literally over drinking hand sanitizer because of statements by Trump.
Right.
I mean, Trump has been misleading the public in so many ways since the start of COVID-19, right? Unlike Bush Jr., who realized he is an idiot and has no direction and doesn't know what to do. And so he let, like, I don't know, just vaguely smarter people try to handle things. Trump thinks he really does know best. Right? Without any political knowledge at all, without any political training at all, without any political anything at all, Trump thinks he knows better, right? He's not putting two and two together. Oh yeah, I had to run like 9 businesses into the ground before I got a couple right. Maybe I should not run the whole country into the ground and then try another one before I get it right. Maybe I should listen to some advice. Like, that's how much of a narcissist this man is, right? Like, he does not care if he kills everybody, if he runs the whole country into the ground, if he bankrupts the country and it starts being owned by some other country. He doesn't care at all. Right? Just as long as he gets to live his 15 minutes of fame and glory. Because for him, this is just an extension of, his TV life, I guess. Like, I for them to think that it's okay for them to play with the CDC. Yeah.
I mean, what's wrong with just saying, I misunderstood. I didn't know how serious this was.
Mm-hmm.
I apologize, American people. How about
apologize.
that? I mean, what's wrong with that?
Right. Right. Especially because Trump admitted he actually, oh, yeah, you know what? That's right at the very end of this article. He actually says it. The president has also admitted to veteran journalist Bob Woodward of downplaying the severity of the coronavirus pandemic early on. I wanted to always play it down. I still like playing it down because I don't want to create a panic, Trump told Woodward on March 19th. Right? So, I mean, this has been Trump's thing. Right? Now, he's claiming he's just playing it down because he cares about the people. He doesn't want to create a panic, right? No, he doesn't. He's downplaying it because he doesn't understand. He doesn't understand the mechanics. He doesn't understand how, a pandemic can wipe out half of your country in 6 months flat when it seems like it's nothing. Like, he doesn't understand. So because he doesn't understand, for him, in a way, it is downplayed. If anything, he has to upplay it, right? Because he like, the scientists speak to him and all he hears is what, what. Remember, like, Charlie Brown's teachers? That's what he hears, right? When anyone says something serious to him, he doesn't understand. So, like,
Wow.
yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, speaking of not understanding, I have the next article. I just don't understand. I have some questions. I normally do. And let me share the screen here.
Mm-hmm.
No audio. Which one is it? There we go. All right. I have questions. I always have questions, and that's how I deal with things. I have questions. I want people to answer, and then that helps me know what's going on. All right.
What?
Colorado school calls police and suspends Black student for having a toy gun in his home.
I could not have read that right. I can't even believe you repeated it the way I heard it when I read it. What? What? Okay, Char. What? Okay, yeah. No, you're gonna have to read this one in full. What?
Okay. Colorado school. So that's a school in Colorado. They call the police. Ring, ring, ring. 911. And suspends Black student, that's person of color, African American, whatever you want to call them, for having a toy. That's something you play with. Toy gun, bang, bang, in his home. That's
Wow.
where his abode is, where he lives. What kind of mess is that? So I'm like, okay, let's just, let me check it out. I don't know what's going on. Let me see if I can move the screen down a little bit. So you can see his, this might be the garage where he lives, but you can see those are toys. Clearly. You clearly can see that. Okay.
No, Char.
Okay.
Tell me there's another picture you're gonna show me, and there's a toy gun, but it's like painted black and it looks really realistic. Please tell me that's not the guns you're talking about.
Well, you know what? I can show you another one. Let me stop sharing this.
Okay.
And I'll pull it up and then I'll read the article. I
Okay.
sure can.
Because this is blowing. What? Like, how you gonna suspend me from school for something I own inside of my house?
Exactly. That's why I said I have questions. I have questions. All right. A Black 12-year-old boy in Colorado was suspended for 5 days and had police officers sent to his home after a teacher said that he was waving a toy gun in his home during a virtual class. Yeah. The young
Wow.
boy, Isaiah Elliott, who is a 7th grader at Grand Mountain School in Colorado Springs, was attending a virtual art class last month on August 27th, his 3rd day of remote school learning. Danny Elliott, his mother, told BuzzFeed News that during the lesson, her son picked up a toy gun and moved it from one side of his computer screen to the other. The toy seen in the video was a neon green and black handgun with an orange tip and the words Zombie Hunter printed on the side. Okay, so that's what I'm showing you on
Wow.
the screen. That first picture there, orange tip, green, and black handle.
So
There you
still
go.
obviously a toy. Very obviously a toy.
Yes, and you Google, this is the pictures that come up. And unfortunately, now he comes up. When you Google search a zombie hunter gun, the young man comes up.
Oh, of course. Of course they do
Exactly.
that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm going to go back to the other and then I'll read the rest of it. Let's see. I want to have him on the screen. Let's see. Go back. Come on, screen share. Okay. Okay, is that the wrong one? I think that's the wrong one. Let me look at. Yep, that's the one I'm reading. So let me just scroll back up so I can have the young man on the screen. And I'll go to the other one and finish reading it. Okay. All right. Where was I? Right there. The teacher notified the school's principal, who then suspended Isaiah for 5 days and called El Paso County Sheriff Office without notifying his parents. Yep, you heard that correctly. It was really frightening and upsetting for me as a parent, especially as the parent of an African American young man, especially given what's going on in our country right now, said Isaiah's father, Curtis Elliott, in an interview with Fox 31. For them to go as extreme as suspending him for 5 days, sending the police out, having the police threaten to press charges against him because they want to compare the virtual environment to the actual in-school environment is insane, said Danny Elliott. In a statement that was posted on his Facebook page last week, Grand Mountain School said there was several inaccuracies being spread on social media about the incident that took place during distance learning, but declined to provide details, citing privacy laws. We never have or ever will condone any form of racism or discrimination, the statement said. Safety will always be number one for our students and staff. Isaiah's suspended ended Friday, but Danny Elliott said she has no intentions of him going back and will withdraw him from the school. She said he is currently on the waiting list for a charter school. Having toys in my home is something I thought I never had to think of, she said. It never crossed my mind that toys could be seen as a threat. Now, the questions I have is why 5 entire days, one whole week? I want to know why, what scale did that principal use? That's one of the questions I have. And then 2, because he was told, the principal did not see this himself. He was told this by a teacher. Why did he feel the need to call the police? That's my other question.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Number
Right.
3, what is the protocol when you suspend someone and you have a trouble, let's just say trouble with a student? What's the protocol? When do you inform the parent? after you make all your calls, then you inform them, or you wait until they contact you and say, "Hey, what's going on?"
Mm,
Is that when you inform them? I
mm.
just really would like to know. And
Well,
then they're in their home.
yeah.
That's the other thing. They're in their home. Now they meant the principle, or the statement they made that this is private. Now it's privacy laws. What's
Mm.
private about it? You done called the police. You done suspended him. You done posted something on Facebook, which they withdrawn because I couldn't pull it up. It's gone. They pulled it. So
Mhm.
all of a sudden now it's private. Now that you've done that, it's private. You said
Mhm.
safety will always be your number one thing for your students and your staff. Your staff is somewhere else, your students are somewhere else. So if you are really concerned, this is the way you do it.
Mhm.
So what's all? I want those questions answered. I really would like to have. I have a couple more, but I'll go ahead and let you speak, and then I'll ask my other few
Okay.
questions.
Because the first thing is, right, it depends. When you say when do you call the parents, it depends apparently on the race of the child. So if you are a white kid, right, they call you in, they have that discussion, they tell you you're suspended, then they call your parents to come pick you up, right, and then say, well, you got to take your kid because they're suspended for however many days. But if you're black, then they call the police to arrest you, and then they feel like at that point it's none of their business. The police can tell you or not, apparently, right? So like, again, this is so wholly how they have even stereotypically institutionalized our children. Like the police are our parents, they called someone for us, right? The point is the kid needs to be removed from school, the police remove the kid from school, there you go. That's all that needed to happen. So I think that that is just translating over into this online space area now. That exact same thing where if it was some white kid, they would have contacted the parents. Let's all have a sit down first with just the parents, then with the kid individually. It's very concerning behavior to me, blah, blah, blah. Some of the students felt threatened, blah, blah, blah. Would have been a whole discussion thing. But what would never have happened is the police got called. Because at the end of the day, unless what they're trying to say is in that video, the kid was uttering death threats while holding the gun, fake or not, which okay, I posit this. Teenagers lie, right,
Mm-hmm.
to their parents. So they're not going to give you the whole truth, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they're going to give you, some version of the truth that makes them look a little more innocent. This is so far to the other side that there's no way that the real truth is that he was holding that gun and threatening people with it, right? So now, did he show it off? Did he make a joke with it? Something like that. Maybe, right? But
Yeah.
I feel like the story that he told is clearly on the side where he knows that he probably shouldn't have done it or something like that. Maybe show people or whatever. It wasn't quite as casual. That's what it seems like to me. But I mean, if the mother was there, because she might have been there, at that point she might have seen it happen. He moved stuff so that we could get more space over here or something like that. I don't know. Right. What I do know for sure, though, is them making that statement about privacy policy is equivalent to saying, well, we're cooperating with the police investigation and we don't want the defense to have this information to be able to defend themselves. And we're the only ones who have a record of it. So we can just edit out anything we don't like and then present that as the evidence. Right? No, that's what it seems like to me, because otherwise, why would you have a problem releasing? You called the
Yeah.
police. You literally made sure that all the details of what happened are going to be available to the public because you made it a criminal thing. And at that point, everything that's involved in the criminal case will be available to the public, including that video. So it's not a privacy policy thing with the school because you decided you wanted your privacy policy with the school to be broken wide open by calling the police on this kid. Point one. Point two, which I find I'm having a hard time with. If this was something that was truly truly worthy of calling the police, right?
Uh-huh.
How in the world do you only have a 5-day suspension? Like, to me, I find that amazing. If you, over the internet, right? It's not like it happened on school grounds, not like someone was physically assaulted, or, you know what I mean? Like, something
Right.
happens where, okay, crime committed. No crime was committed, obviously. So, with that being said, if it was so egregious you had to call the police over the internet, why was he not expelled?
Right.
Right? I mean, this is something where, to me, it seems like, and I'm trying to give them credit by saying, hey, listen, kids lied to their parents, so maybe he's not telling the whole story. I don't know, right? But their story doesn't make sense. It was so
Right.
egregious you had to call the police on him from the privacy of his own home, right? But it was only a 5-day suspension. What? Really? Like, he's a criminal, apparently, to you. But it's only a 5-day suspension. Like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, that is so bullshit. And it's one of those guns. It has the little green tip on it. So even if it wasn't neon orange or neon green on the top, it's got that neon orange tip on it.
Uh-huh.
It's very obviously a toy.
Yes.
Even if I threaten you with a water gun, right? No, seriously. If I threaten you with a water gun, can you seriously say that I'm uttering death threats? Oh man, you better be careful because I got this aimed at you. I'll pull the trigger. You can arrest me for uttering death threats when I'm very obviously pointing a water gun at you? Because that's what it seems like we're getting down to here. This is crazy. This kid, our kids now have to worry about this foolishness from homeschool?
Right.
Come on. Oh my God. You don't have to be black in public anymore. Now you could be black at home.
At home. Isn't that something? A
Damn.
new crime. Oh Lord. Woo.
That is this poor. How old was this kid again?
12.
12. 12, Char. 12.
Yeah.
Man, listen. This is early enough. I hope everyone pulls together a GoFundMe, you know, gets all of these lawyers involved in whatever, and gets this kid clear off, gets everything expunged, including the arrest record. Like, this is ridiculous. 12-year-old kid loving water guns, having a collection of water guns, and getting in trouble for having a gun in a country that has gun ownership in its constitution.
Yeah. I want to know, what did they tell the police? 911 was your emergency. It's this kid in his house. He's waving this green looking gun. And I just suspended him. No, he's not in the school. He's at home. So I want you to go to his house. Let me look in his file and tell you what his address is. Oh, okay. 123 Main Street. Yeah. Go over there and check it out.
Right? Like,
yeah. So I would like to. That's my other question. What did you tell the police when you made the call? Well, did you use 911 or did you use the non-emergency line? What did you do? Because you say you're concerned about the students and the teachers. So what was your level of concern? Was it 911 or was it the non-emergency line? Just throwing it out there. Yeah,
that's a good question. I'm thinking that it's the way that you said the statement from the parent about the moving the gun from one place to the other. It almost sounds like they observed it. So if it happened very shortly after that, they would have maybe, you know what I mean, put 2 and 2 together. I feel like they probably didn't call the emergency line. They probably called the non-emergency line about it, so it could happen significantly afterwards, kind of thing, instead of being called in the moment. Class still are on, teachers are still available, blah, blah, blah. I think they did it that way on purpose. So that way, by the time it happened, no one was available. Now you just gotta wait until tomorrow. They were probably hoping, if anything, he would be held overnight. And you know what? This sounds to me a lot like, when you get backlash from someone just because you didn't respect them, you didn't show them the level of respect or adoration or something. I mean, you see this a lot with cops, for example, right? Where they smack at you because you didn't, show them the appropriate level of fear or respect that they wanted to feel from
Uh-huh.
you. This is what it seems like to me. Seems like, this kid was probably, a little bit antsy, maybe paying attention to his own thing, obviously, blah, blah, blah. Maybe didn't show her the right level of respect or attention she thought. Maybe even questioning, like, what you gonna do? I'm at home or something, you know what I mean? Like one of those kinds of kids. He's a little class clowny. And very frustrating. And she decided she was gonna punish him. That's what it seems like to me.
That's sick.
Mm-hmm. This poor kid. I really hope that they're able to do what they can to take care of him and
Yeah.
get him off of this entirely. Just get this out of his like anything. Anything. Just
Yeah.
God. Okay. So let's take a look at a Toronto police officer. Yeah, that's right. Toronto police officer.
Mm.
Yes. So a Toronto police officer was made to remove the Punisher patch from his uniform. You can see there's the patch right there. And,
Mm-hmm.
it's got another thing right here with this blue line. We're going to talk about that in a second. So, one member of the Toronto Police Service has found themselves in a world of trouble today after being caught on camera wearing a controversial patch on his uniform. The patch includes a skull resembling the vigilante Marvel Comics character, the Punisher, surrounded by a motto aligned with the Blue Lives Matter ethos, "Make no mistake, I am the sheepdog." It also has a black and white Canadian flag with a blue line through it, similar to the oft criticized thin blue line flag south of the border, which many feel blatantly counters the Black Lives Matter movement. Spotted this patch on one of the officers at this morning's presser. Google tells me this is a motto popular among police, a fuller version of which is, "I may walk among the sheep, but make no mistake, I am the sheepdog." The sheep being civilians, presumably, right? So this is Ben Spur, commented here, so that way you could see exactly the idea of why is this whole sheepdog thing. Well, they're calling you sheep, and you may think that I'm here with you and we're all together and whatever. No, I'm the sheepdog. Y'all are just the sheep. It's not a real comforting feeling when you really think about what they're saying there, because that's one thing if you're speaking to criminals, but if all of us are sheep and you're the sheepdog, then you're not just talking to just, the guilty. You're talking to everyone. It's not super comfortable. So the unnamed currently, was seen wearing the problematic emblem on his uniform during a press conference on Tuesday, and an image of it soon made its rounds on social media, with some residents expressing their shock and concern. Some even called for the culprit to be fired, given the fears and heightened tensions between police and civilians lately, as instances of law enforcement's excessive use of force and protests against them persist worldwide, including obviously here. We've talked about some of the things that have happened in Canada very recently, especially since COVID-19 started. It's a travesty, really, what's going on. So to see this patch show up, I think it comes down to a lot of people, and a lot of people are now worried when you see this type of thing start showing up on the uniforms of the police that are supposed to be protecting you, and you as a citizen, right? Like you're thinking, well, maybe reports are blown out of proportion. I live in Canada. It's probably not so bad here, right? And then you see this was just caught on just one of them. you know what I mean, in a random moment, that was basically saying, hey, listen, I stand with y'all. We're going to try to change the temperature up here amongst the police, and try to be more in alignment with some of the police going on in America,
Uh-huh.
which is one thing if there weren't the tensions that were currently happening, if it wasn't about the Punisher on the patch,
Mm.
changing the colors of the flag to being black and white with the thin blue line going through it.
Mm.
I'm just saying, if you see the parallels there,
Yeah.
that's, I mean, it's so obvious. Right? So, say, regardless of the patch's true meaning, the officer's intention in wearing it, and the public's response to it, law enforcement must get permission from the Council Police Board before decorating their workwear with any type of symbols, something the Ward 17 City Councilor Shelley Carroll clarified online this afternoon, tagging Mayor John Tory and other council members. According to TPS representative Megan Gray, the cop has since been called out by his superiors and made to remove the patch. It is not approved nor appropriate. This is now a matter of internal discipline, they tweeted. Whether and what type of internal discipline will be enacted remains unclear.
Okay. Well,
Yep.
if it was on his day off and not his uniform, I guess you can wear what you want.
Right.
But on their uniforms, no, because you represent that, the police force. So
Right.
that's fair.
And, to be more clear, too, I mean, he's the unnamed officer. They know which officer it is because they told him to take it off, right? But
Of course.
he's still unnamed. So, I wonder what the punishment's gonna be.
Nothing.
Right? A whole bucket of nothing. Talking about
Right.
where and what the punishment will be is still unknown. Bull! There's not gonna be no punishment. But you know what? What I think is we're gonna start seeing cops, exactly as you said, who are off duty, starting to wear these now. So you're gonna start seeing them out and about with friends or family. Oh no, I just thought it was cool. There's no part of me that thinks that patch is he just thought it was cool. And there's no part of me that thinks that patch is not organized.
Yeah.
I think that one cop got caught wearing it, or at least pictured wearing it. But I really do think that this is something organized, at least amongst Canadian cops, if not amongst American to Canadian or global cops or whatever. I don't know. There's something very organized about that patch. It looked too clean, looked too professional, looked too put together. I don't know. I think we're going to start. I think this is the start of something. So I wanted to bring it up because I think it's the start of something, and we're going to start seeing more of it. And these patches are going to be tied to some stuff. Put it that way.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. This one, like I said, I had an extra one, and really, I don't really have much to. Well, I could say something, but this is an old one, and I just wanted to show this because I thought the man was cool, calm, and collective. And when I saw this, I'm like, oh, that's something I would do. So I'll share it. Wife caught cheating on camera.
Can you expand it, Char?
I was just trying to do that.
If you press that square thing to see at the bottom right of the video.
Oh, that one? Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
What's up, boss?
Hey, bro, how you doing, man?
All right, boss. What's happening?
All right, so you with my wife?
Ooh!
What's up, boss?
That's
Ooh!
my
She
wife right
naked!
Okay, well,
All right, that's my wife. All right, I don't know what you're digging for, but that's my wife right there. And I want a divorce. Okay, will you give me a divorce? Will you give me a divorce, please? Please give me a divorce. I don't want to deal with this anymore. Okay, I'll turn the camera off. All right, here's the key. I'm done. All right, I'm done. I'm done with you. Okay, I love my daughter. That's the only thing that's important to me. Okay, I have no beef between me and you anymore. I know you're a good man. It's all good, man. This is not going to be seen by anybody except the judge. All right, so you ain't got to worry about nothing. All right. I'm sorry
And
for
the,
disturbing you.
and the Just Ask Char
Have a nice day.
channel, you know.
Ah!
Yeah, you know, we've seen it. We see it too. But I just thought that was so cool. And I'm like, you know, that's exactly what I would do.